What's going on, guys? Dare here with Fantasy Football Advice, coming at you with another fantasy football video. Today, you read the title, you know what time it is. It's time to go round by round, letting you know who in that round is the best value pick based upon our rankings. With the importance of hitting on these early round picks, it will be interesting to see at the end which players are actually deemed the most valuable in the early rounds. If you guys do enjoy this video, then definitely hit that like button. It'll let us know if you are interested in seeing a part 2 to this video, and if you're not subscribed, just make sure to be subscribed to the channel. Believe it or not, only 40% of our average viewers are actually subscribed to the channel. If that just so happens to be you and you do enjoy our content, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, and while you're at it, how about giving this video a big thumbs up? And with that, let's get over to the stat of the day. Yesterday's stat of the day was Alvin Kamara and one other running back tied for the most receiving touchdowns in the league with 5. Who was that second running back? The correct answer was actually Kareem Hunt. Congratulations to Jacob, who's the first to get this right on Twitter. And as for YouTube, Rohan Van Dan Occur. Congratulations to both of you. Let's see who can get today's question correct. We're sticking with running backs and receiving with no minimum. How many running backs last season finished with an average of 4 or more targets per game? Once again, that's with no minimum. How many running backs in 2020 finished the season with an average of 4 or more targets per game? Leave your answer in the comment section down below. We'll be happy to let you know who wins in tomorrow's video. Alright guys, now without further ado, let's get right into the video. And up on your screen, I am going to post the top 12 players based upon Fantasy Pros current ADP. Right off the bat, you'll notice that the first 8 players are actually running backs. You have Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott, Jonathan Taylor, and Nick Chubb. There is a slight run on wide receiver where we have Davante Adams being drafted at 9th overall, Tyreek Hill at 10th. Then bounces back to running back with the 11th overall pick being Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers, and rounding out the first round is Stephon Diggs of the Buffalo Bills. Clearly, the first round is loaded with talent, and I think most people in the first round are going to be targeting the running back position. Clearly, based upon current ADP, the majority of people are going to be leaving the first round with a running back, so you would think the obvious choice here with the best value would be a running back, but in fact, it actually is a wide receiver, none other than Davante Adams, currently ranked 9th by Fantasy Pros ADP, but we actually have him ranked 3 spots higher, coming off the board 6th overall based upon our current rankings. Looking back at what Davante Adams was able to do last season, it was really nothing short of spectacular. In a mere 14 games, he still managed to finish as the first overall fantasy wide receiver on the back of 149 targets, converting that into 115 receptions, which is a career high for Davante Adams. A mere 12 receiving yards off of his career high for receiving yards, coming in at 1374, and was able to eclipse his career high in touchdowns, coming in with a whopping 18. 18 would be extremely impressive by any standards through 16 games, but the fact that Davante Adams was able to eclipse that in a mere 14 games just really shows you how spectacular of a season he really did have. Looking forward into the 2021 season, so long as Aaron Rodgers does return with the Packers, and I will say there is significant cause for concern to where Aaron Rodgers may not return. He is labeled as disgruntled currently, but with him coming off of an MVP caliber campaign like he is coming off of, this may be the last season in his latter years where he is going to have as much bargaining chips as he currently brings to the table. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you can't blame the man for being in the current situation he is, and all that really matters for fantasy is the fact that if he's returning or not. And with our current ranking of Davante Adams being so high, you know that our current marbles are in the camp of Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers having a reunion for the 2021 season. Alright guys, we're moving into the second round, and up on your screen you have the next 12 players, and this is really the stage of the draft where we're starting to get into those tier 2, tier 3 type wide receivers and running backs, and we're really starting to get off the board the tier 1 players at the tight end position and quarterback position, mainly both Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. So up at the top, we do start with Travis Kelce coming off the board 13th overall. We move into DeAndre Hopkins and AJ Brown, back over to a couple running backs in Austin Eckler and Cam Akers, 2 more wide receivers with DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, then the final 2 running backs in this round with Joe Mixon and Antonio Gibson, and to round it out we have Justin Jefferson, George Kittle, and Patrick Mahomes. Would it surprise you guys to hear that there was actually a tie with the players that are actually the most valuable that we have deemed when bounced against the rankings in the second round? Believe it or not, the 2 players that are actually tied are actually the 2 up at the top, both DeAndre Hopkins and Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is coming in with an ADP of 13th overall. overall, if you take a look at our rankings, you will see that we have Travis Kelce listed inside the top 10, and since DeAndre Hopkins is clearly tied, we have him just one spot behind Travis Kelce. If you guys are interested in getting our rankings for the 2021 season, you can definitely follow the link that's in our description box at thefantasyfootballadvice.com. Sign up and become a member today to unlock the rankings today. With that said, making a case for either of these players is extremely easy. When it comes to Travis Kelce, this is now his 5th consecutive season, finishing as not a top 3 tight end, not a top 2 tight end, but the actual number 1 tight end for all of fantasy. That's right, you heard that correct. 5 consecutive seasons where he's finished as the number 1 overall fantasy tight end. Most recently, even in the 2020 season, finishing with 312 fantasy points in a PPR league, which when compared to both the running back position and the wide receiver position would be good for a top 5 finish. As for DeAndre Hopkins, the case for him is also quite simple. He's been one of the best wide receivers in the entire league since being drafted, and in PPR leagues since 2017, the past 4 seasons, he has also been able to finish in the top 5 at the wide receiver position. Looking back at last season, one of the main concerns with drafting Hopkins so high was going to be the amount of targets he received in this offense. The Arizona Cardinals typically being an offense that spread around the ball pretty effectively, but now insert a top-end wide receiver who's been used to getting 150 plus targets in each season while on the Houston Texans. It did bring in a bit of concern as to whether he would see the same type of target market share we were used to and accustomed to while he was in Houston. All concerns with DeAndre Hopkins and his potential target market share were quickly laid to rest when this player did receive 160 targets in his first season on a new offense. Now, typically with free agent wide receivers, as you know, in the first year there are usually some kinks getting accustomed to the new play at quarterback, the new offense, the new scheme, but immediately right out of the gate, DeAndre Hopkins was involved in this offense at a very high rate. Clearly, when we're projecting out his involvement for the 2021 season, we expect much of the same, which is a reason why we think he is coming in a bit undervalued. But like we said, he is tied with the most valuable player, coming in tied with Travis Kelce. So if you're on the clock and have both of those two players available, you really can't go wrong with either pick. Alright guys, we're moving into the 3rd and final round in this video. If you guys are interested in seeing a part 2 to this video, go ahead and toss this video a like, where we'll go into the 4th, 5th, and the 6th round. But up on your screen, you will see the current 3rd round ADP, which coming up at the top, we have Michael Thomas with an ADP of 25th overall. Moving into DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Miles Sanders, J.K. Dobbins. In the final 6, we have Terry McLaurin, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Najee Harris, Julio Jones, David Montgomery, and Mike Evans. If you made it this far in the video, I would be interested in hearing which player in the 3rd round that you feel is the most undervalued, because it's actually a pretty close one. But believe it or not, the most undervalued player we have currently in the 3rd round out of all the players listed above is going to be the rookie Najee Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Najee Harris is going to be an incoming rookie running back drafted in the 1st round of the 2021 NFL Draft. He was drafted with the 24th overall pick, going over to Pittsburgh, and he brings over to the Pittsburgh offense a very diverse skill set in the pass game as well in the run game, and he brings in substantial size as well to the table. He currently comes in at a height of 6'1", 232 pounds, which is definitely on the bigger side for any running back in the league. As for landing spot, Najee Harris couldn't have really found himself in a much better situation going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the teams that were most cap strapped. The reason I bring that up is because they were heavily in the market for potentially getting a free agent running back, since they were reported to be letting go of often injured James Conner, and reportedly were looking to fill up his vacated spot by another pass catching running back, potentially out of free agency. But with them being so strapped for cash and leaving the free agent period without a running back, they were definitely one of the teams heavily in the market for a running back on NFL Draft Day. The Pittsburgh Steelers really didn't have to look far for their future at running back, with Najee Harris on the board at the 24th overall pick. Najee Harris ranked by most as the top running back in the draft class, coming in with a very diverse skill set, running for Alabama for 4 seasons, compiling 638 rush attempts on the ground for 3,843 rushing yards. The team also over time was giving him more work in the receiving game, ultimately in his senior season receiving a whopping 43 receptions. Nobody can really really doubt his ability to handle a full workload in his senior season, playing in 13 games, handling over 250 rush attempts on the ground, averaging over 5.8 yards per carry on those attempts, even scoring 26 times, another 4 through the air, and compiling throughout the season over 400 receiving yards. So clearly the Pittsburgh Steelers got a player who has 3-down workhorse potential with substantial size, and he's coming into an offense led by Big Ben, which definitely has a lot of upside for scoring potential. If Ben Roethlisberger and his arm can hold up for the 2021 season, there is a lot to love about Najee Harris. This is a player on a team desperately needing a running back, and the depth chart behind him and cause for concern for any running backs potentially stealing touches is virtually non-existent. So when looking for a player that's guaranteed to have a role for the upcoming season, it's hard to look further than Najee Harris for the 2021 season. Alright guys, let's summarize the value picks that we've had for the first 3 rounds. In the top 12, we did pick one player at the wide receiver position, the most valuable player in the first round, none other than receiver Davante Adams of the Green Bay Packers. If this was going to be our team, we would pair Davante Adams with potentially the player we have as the best value pick in the second round, which was a tie between Travis Kelce and DeAndre Hopkins. To make things simple, we are only going to take one valuable player that's in that round, and considering we took a wide receiver in the first round, let's, for our hypothetical fantasy team, go with Travis Kelce in the second round. So far in 2 rounds, we have Davante Adams at wide receiver and Travis Kelce at tight end. Now, I know a lot of people would be afraid to leave the first 2 rounds without a running back, but for this hypothetical team, we do provide somewhat of a solution, drafting Najee Harris as the most valuable 3rd round pick, making this hypothetical fantasy roster led by Davante Adams, Travis Kelce, and Najee Harris as our RB1. After 3 rounds, I don't think that's pretty bad for a hypothetical fantasy roster, but let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you a fan of our value picks? Do you think we slept on someone? Do you believe there's somebody else that we should have picked for the most valuable players in the first 3 rounds? Let us know all of that below. And if you guys did enjoy and want to see more, a part 2 where we go through the next 3 rounds, putting together this hypothetical undervalued fantasy roster, hit us with that thumbs up button. But with that, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.